Hi there, how's it going? I thought you were going to start. I guess we didn't describe...
Well, Statboy's bell, so I figured Statboy would start the...
yeah, well, I thought, you know, you could... Yeah, whatever. Anyway, we're here this weekend on another mashup episode, and this week's topic are books, non-wrestling.
That's right.
None of the Book of the Month Club or wrestling autobiographies or how to be a wrestler or anything like that. Well, now
wrestling for dummies, you know.
Oh yeah, wrestling for dummies. So, you go first.
Okay, very good. All right. Number 10 for me is The Diary of Anne Frank. I read that 3 times now. I read it once as a kid, I read it once in high school, and then I read it after I went to the National Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. back in 2007. And reading that after I went to the Holocaust Museum really just kind of, I guess, floored me would be a proper word. Mm-hmm. Just very sad, very gut-wrenching would be a good word, I guess.
I think I read it back in middle school, so like 25 years back.
Back in the olden days,
yeah.
You know.
When they put the book in front of you and you said, "Hey, read it or I flunk you."
That's right. Yeah, very true. Number 9, Charlotte's Web. I loved it as a book. I loved it as a cartoon. I loved it as a movie. I love this story. I always have. I always will. I'm not a huge fan of spiders as a rule, but you know, Charlotte was a good spider, so it was all good. It was very, very good story. I liked it a lot. Very, very cute and sad at the end of the day.
Well, yeah.
Number 8, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
The first book.
Yeah, it's really the only one I really fully got into. The other ones that followed, I was kind of not into, but Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I was so happy when Walden Media and Disney produced it, because it was cool to see the characters come to life, more than just like some sort of like PBS special or something. It was actually cool to see a full-length feature on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
There you go.
Number 7 started as a comic book, a graphic novel, and then it became a book that I ended up reading, The Dark Knight Returns, by Frank Miller, I believe. The story of a middle-aged Bruce Wayne who had given up the Batman moniker and had basically just left that life and is called back into duty by, of course, the Joker, who ends up, I believe, in The Dark Knight Returns, shooting and paralyzing Barbara Gordon, the Batgirl, who becomes Oracle after the result of that. And it led to The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises Again, or whatever the sequel was called. And a big influence on that story was led to, of course, The Dark Knight Rises, which is the big movie of the summer right now.
Right. That's good. Next.
Another graphic novel, a comic book, actually comic book series that became a graphic novel, that became a novel that I ended up getting, The Death and Life of Superman, hence the Sasha shirt.
I think this chronicles the whole
Doomsday
story.
The Doomsday storyline and the
battle and the fight.
And then the tale of the 4 Supermen who came to claim Clark's moniker, and then of course the return of Clark himself.
Okay, I didn't get that far. I just went as far as the Doomsday fight.
Yeah, no, well, after that, you had 4 different Supermen come up and rise.
Yeah. I know the story, but I never read the story. But I do know the book you're talking about. So
very, very well done. I enjoyed the whole thing. I actually have Superman number 75, The Death of Superman comic book, in a plastic thing at home in my storage unit. But not home here.
I still want to find the Funeral for a Friend series. I just wanted to.
That was hard to read, man. That was.
I just want to see how they did it, because there have been plenty of recreations. I know in one of the cartoon series. I know we're supposed to talk about books. I apologize.
That's okay.
But there was a nice little. It was animated perfectly. I mean, and you know they had the big Superman tower as his crypt or whatever, even though he was totally gone or whatever. But yeah.
Well, there was a cartoon that was on DVD that actually was on video called Superman Doomsday that totally retold the story differently than how it was actually.
Where he survived?
Yeah. No. He did die and then come back, or we thought he was dead and he came back, and just the cartoon was awful. It's actually in the art sale file. It's in my DVD section.
It's
in the art sale file.
I gotta see that.
Well, we will watch it before I get rid of it. How about that? Okay. wherever the hell I was, because I got off track here. Let's see.
6.
Let's see. Hang on, let me see. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Thank you. Star Wars: The Rise and Fall of Anakin Skywalker. Now, the book's about this thick at the end of the day, but it tells the whole Anakin story all the way up until the fall and the transformation into Darth Vader the Machine Man, as opposed to just Darth Vader the Sith Lord that was still human.
Is it detailed, or is it just...
Very detailed. It more detailed than I thought a book of that size would be. It was very, very cool to read that. It was very, very cool.
I might have to check that one.
All right. Number... I messed up.
No, just keep going. You're fine.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I've only got 7. Oh, well.
Let's just keep going. That's
fine.
Well,
that's okay. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Very good. Harper Lee. Very good.
I read the book first, and then I got to see the movie with Gregory Peck in class, in a English class back in freshman year of high school, which was, taking us back. Not as far back as, some people in the house, because I am the baby at the end of the day. But very, very great story. Very, very moving story. Very, very. It really tugs at your heartstrings. This one.
Yes, especially the courtroom scene.
Oh God, yes.
It's like, she wanted me to bust up the Schiffer robe, and you give me a dime for it, and then, well, where did he hit you? With his left hand. Well, his left hand is paralyzed. How did he hit you? He hit me with his, and just because he's African American, it's like what the time period and the setting of the story melded together.
Exactly.
And it's like, it just showed that in a story, no matter whatever an African American or a slave said, just did not matter, and that's what's really sad about it all.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go with this one next. Star Trek Federation.
Okay.
This was a novel that was put out in 1994, so just after the just right around the same time as Generations was released in theaters. It tells the story of basically Zephyr Cochrane, the inventor of warp drive, who later came in First Contact in the movies, and his encounters with both the crew from the original series and the Next Generation, and how they almost ended up interacting with one another together through the sands and the portals of time, I guess. Very, I mean, the hardcover's about like this thick. It's freaking huge. I got the paperback. That's very thick too. I recommend it to any Star Trek fan. It's an old story. It came out whatever it was in at 94 or whatever it was, but it's a great story. It's amazing how they wrote it. Very, very well done.
What's next?
The last ones I have, and like I said, I messed up my count. Everyone but the last one. Harry Potter number 1 through 6 are my number 2 at the end of the day.
So Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets,
yes.
Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire,
Order of the Phoenix,
Order of the Phoenix, and
Half-Blood Prince,
and Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Deathly Hallows was 1 book, 2 movies.
Right.
Yeah. That's okay.
I was just surprised how much I got.
I was very good. I enjoy the Harry Potter series. I didn't discover it as a kid because it didn't come out until 1997. I discovered it in a science fiction English class in 2000 in the fall semester of my senior year, and it was one of those things where I had failed English miserably the year before.
English was always the toughest.
English sucked, and in the day I ended up taking Shakespeare one semester and American Lit the other semester. The American Lit I did okay in, but Shakespeare I just bombed. And I feel bad because that was the football coach's class.
Oh, so if you didn't do your Shakespeare, he'd make you run 100 yards.
Yeah, well, he wasn't the coach at the time.
Okay.
Of course, the greatest coach we ever had was not the coach at the time. He was in between his terms. So, but Coach Welch ended up feeling me, and ended up having to take a lower level class. And it was science fiction, and I got interested in Harry Potter. And the teacher read; she did voices during the reading.
Really?
Yeah, it was very, very cute. And I watched the movie that fall, the first one, and I was hooked instantly to the Harry Potter series.
It was
very,
cool.
very awesome, very, very cool. And through that, I've read all the books. Got them as gifts, and my number 1, Deathly Hallows, of course, the very last chapter of the saga. I was sleeping on my bed, and we pre-ordered it, the last one, and I turned over in my sleep early in the morning, and I like the hell? My mom had put it right here on next to my pillow, Like that way I can wake up and immediately start reading it.
Good.
So,
I always liked it when in school when the teachers actually read the story to the students.
Yes, very.
And then of course
done.
it's like they make you like do like a report on it, or they give you a pop quiz on it. That way you learn the stuff.
Yeah. Well, Harry was not our required stuff. Harry was just a little thing at the end of the class where if we were good little boys and girls and good little seniors, we got a chapter of Harry Potter at the end of the day class. So.
All right, my turn.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That was good. That was good. I will admit, this was one of the toughest lists I did because, it's we being a wrestling family, and we're talking about wrestling 24/7. It's like I just can't pick non-wrestling books, but I did. Number 10, I went all the way back. A book called The Phantom Tollbooth.
Oh my God. Take me back.
Yeah, really. Basically, the story is about a boy named Milo. He's bored with his life. He's like he doesn't have time for anything, and then all of a sudden, this magic toll booth shows up, and he goes on adventures, and he goes through the doldrums, and he drives a car, and he meets a knight, and he ends up in a world where he can't talk and everything. The story was very cheesy.
Oh yes.
The movie was even cornier.
Oh God,
but
yes.
But it did follow the book, which I did like.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yep.
Number 9, Ramona the Brave.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Ramona Quimby and Judy Blume, they had the great stories. Ramona the Brave, I think, was always my favorite because, how much trouble can a little girl get into?
A lot.
And it's like there was one clip where, I think it was even before, because there was a series.
Yes.
There was a scene where she was a little child and she had a big old block of butter.
Oh no.
And she pretended it was a sandwich.
Yes.
And she wanted to eat the sandwich, and it's like Ramona, I'm going to eat my sandwich, and I don't care what you say. And it's like, oh my God. And then she grows up. There was a short-lived TV show on PBS.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. So yeah,
Interesting.
Ramona Quimby and all her tales.
There you go.
Number 8, The Beatle Diary After the Breakup, 1970 to 2001.
Okay.
Basically, it's like a diary. It gives you every date and then every little thing that each of the 4 Beatles did in their singles career. It gives you a little history lesson.
So John's part was about 6 years long.
John's part in 1980 was about 2 pages long, 3 pages long.
Well, no, because it started in 1974. You said, right?
Well, yeah, but
so his whole thing is about 6 years long.
Well, yeah, that too, and then
yeah,
and it's like all it was all recording sessions,
nice,
disc releases, interviews, Ringo doing Shining Time Station, Paul getting arrested in Japan, John Lennon doing everything up until 1980,
right.
The release of the discography, everything.
Nice.
Gives you a good little history lesson.
That's very cool.
I like that one. Number 7, Survivor, the official companion to CBS television. Basically, it's a detailed account of season 1 of Survivor.
Yikes.
It tells you how the game got played and everything, but it also gave you backstage stuff like when the cameras actually did turn off, and like things you didn't see that ended up on the cutting room floor, and profiles. It's a biography of Survivor essentially. So,
wow.
Yeah, I like that one.
All right.
I got it for a birthday present.
Oh, very cool.
Number 6, what you mentioned, Charlotte's Web. First read in 3rd grade, 1983. And of course, being only like 8 or 9 years old, it's like, oh, animals can talk?
You were in 3rd grade in 83?
No. 3rd grade was 86.
Okay, but still, you're in 3rd grade in 86. I feel so young, like a baby.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like 9 years old, so that would be about third or 4th grade. It's like and I'd read the story before the teacher presented it to the class, so I kind of knew what was happening. And it's guess what happens next? Guess what? I know what happens next, teacher. I'm like, oh, be quiet. Oh, sorry, teacher. Continue. And like I say, back then that's a good way to get kids to learn, get kids to read. You gotta get the kids to read.
Yes.
10, 9, 8, 7. Number 5, The Secret Garden.
You didn't think about that.
Now, the backstory on this one, I got into a bit of trouble over this book because this was 7th or 8th grade. It was just before high school, and it's like I was doing the whole don't judge the book by its cover, and it's like I don't want to read a story about a little girl that runs through a garden and everything.
Right.
And I think the way the teacher tricked me into reading the book was she showed us the movie first. Very clever. And so basically,
why do the adults are always the smarter ones? It's like seriously, it's like the whole thing with trying to get your kids to eat the food that they don't want to eat. My mom got me to eat tamale pie by calling it hamburger casserole. Never knew until it was all done. By the way, it's tamale pie.
That's very clever. I like that.
My mom was very wise.
And of course, threatening me to go to the principal's office didn't help either.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't read this book, you're going to the principal's office. I'm calling your parents. It's like, no, okay, I'll read the book.
Don't call home. Never do that.
I never read a book that fast and actually retained the knowledge of the Secret Garden.
Yes.
Very good book.
Very good story.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Number 4, Dead Man Walking by Sister Helen Prejean.
I was going to say Dead Man Walking by
no, not Limp Bizkit.
Reading the line notes, are we?
Yeah, really. I did see the movie first, and then I found out there was a book, so I saw that. The book totally differs from the movie.
Yeah, I hate that.
The only thing that pretty much got the same was the central character, Sister Prejean, Sister Helen, Susan Sarandon, great job. In the book, she consults with 2 inmates. In the movie, of course, with Sean Penn.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. And in the book, they deal with the chair. In the movie, it's the needle. So that kind of is like,
yeah.
And she kind of goes into detail a little bit on what it. So that's kind of creepy, but
yes.
It's still a good read.
Yes.
Number 3, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
You know, to this day, I've still never actually read the book.
You gotta read the book. It's a good book. It also spawned a sequel, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator.
Huh.
But I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a little bit better. Again, it was another story read to us by the teacher. Of course, we read the book and then we watched the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory,
which differs.
Which is it did stay to the book, but it wasn't as crisp. You know, Johnny Depp's version was much more to the book, to almost sentence by sentence. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, Willie wasn't near as dark as Charlie was as far as the movies go. So you know.
And I guess I like. If I have to pick the 2, I gotta go with Charlie over Wonka. Number 2, A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens. You can't go wrong with that. You know, Marley was dead to begin with. Great way to start off the book. Yes. There's of course multiple film versions now, but it's all the same basic story. Scrooge is a mean old man. You know, Christmas comes around, he don't care. See the ghosts, and the old man gets redeemed.
It's a great story of it's a great story of a fall. You don't really see much of the rise of Scrooge until midway through the book and the movie, but you do see his. It's not almost classic rise, fall, redemption stories.
Yeah, and I did like how there was one version that went in the movies that went detailed with Scrooge all the way up. I mean, it's like he's a young boy in school. He was with Fezziwig. Next thing you know, he's an old man. Well, you know what happened in between the teenage years.
Right.
So yeah. And number 1 has to go Green Mile. I love the Green Mile.
Again, never read the book.
You gotta read the book. It does stay true to the story.
That's good.
Again, I saw the movie first, and then I actually read the book, and I actually followed the book, and I actually finished the book, which was more of a surprise. Because usually I just go 1, 2, 3, and then it's like, oh, that happened. Okay, good. You know, so yeah, Green Mile is my all-time favorite book, and
well, you talk a lot about comparisons with movies transitioning to books or vice versa. You know, excuse me, the other way around. You know what I didn't mention in my list that I'll throw on there since I didn't have 10? Because I read the book first, and this is one of the few people I know that's actually done this.
Go ahead.
Fight Club.
Really?
I read the book first. I saw Fight Club in 2010 for the very first time.
I did not know that.
Yep, I read the book in a film and lit class and film as lit class, and then I read the book, and was amazed at the twist. If you haven't seen it, I won't tell you. If he was not seeing Fight Club, shame on you.
Yeah, really.
But if you the twist in it in the book is so much more like, what?
Was soap involved in the book?
Soap was all over the book. Yes.
Okay,
soap
good.
Was,
as long as
soap was much more involved in the book than it was in the movie.
As long as the soap was there.
Yes.
So,
all right. So that's
there's our list.
Yes.
Check them out. Go to the library and read in between watching our shows, man. Get educated.
That's right.
Read to your kids. Let them. That way that they go to school and they can come home and say, "Guess what, Daddy? I heard a story about a talking pig and a spider." And they're not talking about cartoons. They're talking about a book.
That's Mikey's way of doing it. My way is read a book, read a book, read a mother effing book. All right. There you go. We'll see you guys next time on Stat Boys Bill.
Stat Boy out.